China's 300% debt mountain. A critical lesson for India's economic ascent. Asterisk, asterisk. Recent economic data has revealed a concerning trend in China's financial landscape. Its total debt has reportedly surged to a staggering 300% of its gross domestic product, GDP. This monumental debt pile, encompassing government, corporate, and household borrowing, has ignited global concerns about the sustainability of China's economic growth and its potential ramifications for the global financial system. For India, a rapidly growing economic power seeking to emulate China's developmental trajectory, this situation presents a critical case study, offering invaluable lessons on the perils of debt-fueled expansion. China's remarkable economic ascent over the past few decades has been underpinned by massive investments in infrastructure, manufacturing, and real estate, often financed through substantial borrowing. While this strategy propelled unprecedented growth and lifted millions out of poverty, it has also led to the accumulation of a colossal debt burden. The 300% debt-to-GDP ratio signals a level of leverage that historically has preceded significant economic slowdowns or financial crises in other countries. The composition of China's debt is particularly noteworthy. A significant portion resides within the corporate sector, particularly among state-owned enterprises, SOEs, and real estate developers. SOEs, often driven by policy objectives rather than strict profitability, have accumulated substantial debt, posing a potential risk to the financial system should they face difficulties in repayment. The highly leveraged real estate sector, which has been a major engine of China's growth, is also showing signs of strain, with several large developers facing default risks, potentially triggering systemic contagion. Household debt has also been on the rise in China, fueled by increasing mortgage borrowing and consumer credit. While still lower than in some developed economies, the rapid pace of accumulation raises concerns about household financial vulnerability, especially in the face of economic headwinds or a cooling property market. The implications of China's massive debt for its own economy are significant. Servicing this debt burden consumes a substantial portion of economic output, diverting resources that could otherwise be used for productive investments or consumption. High debt levels also limit the government's ability to respond effectively to future economic shocks, as its fiscal space is already constrained. Furthermore, the risk of a disorderly deleveraging process, where borrowers are forced to rapidly reduce their debt, could trigger a sharp economic slowdown or a financial crisis. For India, which aspires to become a $5 trillion economy and a global manufacturing hub, China's debt situation offers crucial insights and warnings. India's own economic growth has also been supported by borrowing, particularly to fund infrastructure development. However, the scale and composition of India's debt are currently different from China's. India's overall debt-to-GDP ratio is significant, but not at the alarming level seen in China. Moreover, a larger proportion of India's debt is held by the government, and its corporate and household debt levels are relatively lower. Nevertheless, India can draw several critical lessons from the Chinese experience. 1. The perils of uncontrolled corporate debt. China's experience highlights the risks associated with rapid and unchecked accumulation of corporate debt, especially within sectors prone to speculative bubbles like real estate. India needs to maintain robust regulatory oversight and ensure that corporate borrowing is aligned with sustainable growth and profitability, avoiding the creation of zombie companies that survive only by rolling over debt. 2. The importance of SOE governance. The significant debt held by Chinese SOEs underscores the challenges of balancing policy objectives with financial prudence. India, with its own public sector enterprises, needs to prioritize efficiency, transparency, and market-based principles in their operations to prevent the buildup of unsustainable debt burdens. 3. Managing real estate bubbles. China's highly leveraged property sector serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of asset price inflation fueled by excessive credit. India needs to carefully monitor its real estate market and implement policies to prevent speculative bubbles and ensure that housing remains affordable and accessible. 4. Sustainable household borrowing. While India's household debt is currently manageable, The rapid growth of consumer credit necessitates careful monitoring. Policies should aim to promote financial literacy and responsible borrowing, preventing households from becoming over-leveraged and vulnerable to economic shocks. 5. Transparency and data quality. The opacity surrounding some aspects of China's debt, particularly off-balance sheet borrowing by local governments, has complicated the assessment of the true extent of the problem. India needs to maintain high standards of transparency and data quality in its financial reporting to ensure accurate and timely assessment of debt risks. In conclusion, while India's economic trajectory and debt profile differ from China's, the latter's massive debt burden offers a valuable case study in the potential pitfalls of debt-fueled growth. As India continues its economic ascent, it must heed the lessons from China's experience by maintaining prudent fiscal policies, ensuring robust regulatory oversight of corporate and household borrowing, promoting efficiency in state-owned enterprises, and preventing the formation of asset bubbles. By doing so, India can aim for a more sustainable and resilient growth path, avoiding the debt trap that China currently grapples with. The critical lesson from China's 300% debt is clear. Quality of growth, underpinned by sound financial management, is far more important than the sheer pace of expansion.